What's going on, guys? King Raven here, coming to you with another video. This video is going to be talking about the top 5 users in my collection, and I've got an honorable mention. I was tagged for this video from Brothers of the Knives, Salty Red Corn. Excellent dude, excellent brother, love him very much. If you're not following Brothers of the Knives, go check him out on YouTube and on Instagram. He is an awesome dude and a great personal friend. But before we get into today's video, let's do a wrist check. I'm wearing my Islander ISL 60, which is the blue dial Islander Monster. Mark over at Long Island Watches does a great job with his Islanders. I love the style of the Monster. This is excellent quality. It's just a great watch. I love my Islander watches, and I love this Islander Monster with the blue dial. So it goes with my shirt today. That's one reason why I chose it. Anyway, let's get on to the video. I'm going to start with my honorable mention. The reason why this knife's an honorable mention is because it stays in my little EDC pouch. If you watch my EDC gear video, you'll know, because you saw this knife right here, this stays in that pouch that hangs on the back of my wheelchair. So it gets used a lot of times because it's always with me. But it's not one of my knives that I will grab for use from my knife collection on a daily basis and stuff. This is just a always with me at whim knife that I will grab and have. That's why it does not make the top 5. But this is the Artisan Cutlery's Biome Slip Joint. It's a super thin, super light knife. I love this knife. It's a great knife. I carry it in that. It doesn't add much weight to that EDC pouch, which is full as it is with all the stuff that I'm trying to carry. So this is a knife that I always like to keep in that EDC bag, but it's not one of my knives that I will grab. This is just one that gets used because it's always with me. So, let's get into the actual top 5 users. But before we get directly into the knives themselves, I am in a wheelchair. I am a double amputee above the knee. That was of March of 2021. So, y'all have been coming along with this journey as I've been adjusting. But my knives are not hard use knives. I'm not carving fat wood, I'm not batoning, I'm not doing crazy stuff with my knives. My knives are for opening packages. My knives are envelopes and twine and thread and food, stuff in the house that you would need your knife as a tool for. That's where my uses are. I'm not hard using my knives, so my knives stay in pretty good looking condition because I'm not beating on my knives. I don't do a lot of construction or anything like that. My stuff is for just that small daily use, which I believe a lot of people fall into the category if that's what they use their knives. A lot of times they're not using their knives for, you know, big jobs, big work, and stuff like that. They're using their knives to open up your box, what you got today, open up your mail, cutting your food, that type of premise. So that's where these knives come into play. First knife I'm going to show you is the Honey Badger Worn Cleaver. Love this knife. Honey Badger is an excellent knife for the money. It even punches above its weight. It's a better knife than a lot of knives that are more expensive from other brands. Love my Honey Badger knife, and this Worn Cleaver is a great way for packages, boxes, food. I like it. It's just one of my favorite honey badger blade shapes. So this honey badger worn cleaver gets used a good bit. Next knife that I'm going to show you is my off-grid knives Caiman EDC. This is a clip point Bowie style knife, but this knife I love. I grab this knife on a regular basis. It's very filling to the hand. It's got a great feel to it. The jimping goes way up on the back of the spine, so it locks in your thumb right there. So no matter what I'm doing, what type of task I'm doing, this is a box and packaging monster. This thing blows through whatever I try to do. So that's where I tend to grab towards this off-grid knives Caiman EDC. Next knife, if you know me and you know my collection, yes, I have a couple of honey badgers off-grid knives and a couple of smaller knives, but my collection is comprised of mostly Fair & Forge, Spydercos, and Hinders. Those are my big three. I love Fair & Forge, Spydercos, and Hinders. So these next three knives, shockingly, are Fair & Forge, Spyderco, and Hinder. First one that I would grab is my Fair & Forge Stinger. This is what I refer to as my bug out killer. This is a light, thin, super slicey knife, nitro V steel. This thing just is like a razor blade. If I need to do sharp stuff, food prep, different stuff like that, this is a knife that works excellently. I love the Fair & Forge Stinger. Next knife is one of my most used, if not my most used knife in my complete collection. This is my Spyderco Pair 3 in Maximum. This thing just cuts and cuts and cuts and keeps on cutting, and you don't have to worry about it. Maximum is a beast. I love it. It patinas. I just let it naturally patina. I don't force patina it. I just let it do its own thing. This thing stays sharp. The ergos on it, it just fits in the hand. Choke up like this, you can do any type of work. Back here, any type of work. It's just excellent. It's a compression lock. Spyderco Pair 3 is one of my favorite Spyderco designs, and this knife in the Maximum steel is just a beast of a workhorse. I love it. It fits my uses that I need, and it just is one of my all-time go-to knives, if not my very first go-to knife. Last of the five. This knife is a newer into my collection as far as my Hinder knives. This is my most recent Hinder pickup. But since I have gotten it, this has been probably the Hinder that I have grabbed more than any other of my Hinders. This is the Hinder XM18 3.5 inch non-flipper Spanto. I've got Hinder flippers, I love them, but these non-flipper Spantos, I've got a Gen 4 non-flipper Spanto that's running on phosphor bronze with the Warthog titanium scale. This is the new drop that was just done with the tri-way pivot system. So this one is actually running on bearings. So this is I guess you would consider it a Gen 6 XM18, but it's a excellent knife. I love the XM18. The non-flipper is just stellar. I can choke up. You've got full access, no flipper tab. It's just great blade shape. You know, I am a Hinder fan, and this is probably the Hinder that I grabbed to the most. And I don't know if you saw that, but that action is outstanding. I just sit there and get past that detent and boom, it's, of course, you know, drop shut is not all end all be all. Smoothness is great, but when you're running these Hinders on bearings, they tend to be drop shut, and it's stellar. But I love this knife. I love the color. I'm a huge orange fan. I've got several knives that are orange, like my Spyderco Caiman. So orange is one of my colors. But this knife is just a great knife, and I have been grabbing this knife on a regular basis. So that would be my top 5 with an honorable mention of the most used knives in my collection. What are your top 5 most used knives out of your collection? Let me know in the comments below. Follow me on Instagram at Shield Arms. Please like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, this is King Raven, and y'all be safe out there.